Hello, this is part two of color grading for photography. So we're going to start with what we said in the introduction is we're going to create some color samples from this photograph so that we can use the color samples in creating a gradient map. The way that's done is that we have to go to File, Export, and export this photograph is a web file. So we're going to save it for web. And this box comes up. There's only one place here that you have to be concerned about, which is this box up here, which says colors. And I would suggest that you have between 3 and 5 colors. In this case, I've chosen 5 colors, and it has taken 5 colors from this photograph and placed them down here in this little color table box. I'll just show you what we can do here. We can make it like 8 colors, and 8 colors show up. But 5 seems to be a pretty good number, and we'll just stick with that for now. All we have to do now is to save this. The way that's done is by going to this little box here, and a menu comes up, and we're going to save it as a color table. And that'll become clearer later on as we go. I save all my color tables just in my pictures file under Swatches. The reason there's Swatches is because even though it's called it is a color table, but in this case what it allows you to do is it converts the color table to Swatches, and so we're going to save them here. And I've already saved this one here. It's House on Summit. So I don't have to save it right now, but you just name it House on Summit and save. So we'll just cancel out of here. So now that we have our colors and we have our swatches saved, we can just close out of here. And we're done with this picture. So if we're going to continue on the route, we're going to bring in the photograph that we want to take some of those tones from and put them in here. The way that's done is that we have to find the samples that we had created in the previous photograph. So all we have to do with this is we go to Window, and there is a panel. It's a Swatches panel that we have to bring up, and you can put it wherever you want. And we have to go find those swatches. Normally these swatches could be shown as anything. We can reset the swatches to what they normally would have been when you originally, if you've never used them before in Photoshop, this is what it would look like. But it can look many ways, and you can look all about swatches on the internet to see how this panel works. But all we have to do is find the ones we want. So we bring the swatches panel up and go to this menu here, and then replace the swatches. Replace the swatches with the ones that you're going to find in here. And we have the House on Summit, and we're going to open that up, and it replaces the swatches that we had in here with the ones that we had previously made from the previous photograph. Now, in order to map the colors from these swatches to this photograph, we need to create a gradient map layer. And the gradient map layer is right down here at the bottom within Photoshop. The way that we map these colors to this gradient map is we have to click on the gradient map itself here, the little bar, and that brings up the gradient editor. And I have a video that I'm going to make on how this gradient editor works, and how you find your presets and all that sort of stuff. But for this, I just want to show how it's mapped, so we're not going to worry so much about that. So in this case, we're going to make this gradient map, and we do that by clicking on this bar, making sure everything's active. And then this little guy here, you notice if you click on it, there's a little triangle, it's hard to see at the top, that turns black. That means that this has been activated, And if we go down here and click on this one, you'll see that it's activated. So what we're going to do is we're going to place these colors along this bar in order of where they would appear in terms of their brightness. So the brightest colors will go down at this end and the darkest colors will go down at this end. And we do that by selecting the first little box and then selecting the first color. And notice the eyedropper tool comes up immediately, so we click on it and everything turns that color in the background, and there's a square that shows up down here that we have to click on in order to bring up the color picker dialog box. The reason that's done is because we want to locate in the color picker what the brightness of this color is and then put it in where the location is here. In this case, the color is 91. The brightness is 91. We just have to remember that. Click OK and put 91 in this box here. And it places the marker at 91%, this being 100% and this being 0%. And so this is the location of the brightness of this color on this gradient. So we need to load the second color. We just do that by clicking on the second available square here and click on the second color with the eyedropper tool. And then again, click on the color and memorize the brightness, which in this case is 81. And we put 81 in here. And again, we just continue on. You don't have to say OK or delete or touch anything in here. But one thing we have to do now is we only have 2 little boxes and we need more because we have 5 colors. So if you click on just below the bar here, it will add another one. And when it's added, it's all automatically activated. And you click on the third color, we create this color. We find it in the color picker and it is 66%, and we put 66% in the box. Again, we continue on, adding another marker, clicking on the fourth one, finding out what is its color temperature or percentage brightness, and it's 33. So we put 33 in here. And for the last one, we need another marker. Click on there, find out what is the brightness of this one, and it's 56, and put 56 in here. And there we've created a gradient. We want to save this gradient. I will have a video that talks about how you do that, entirely to do with the gradient editor. Now that we've created this, we're done here. This is okay. We can get rid of these two. And here we have our gradient. And it doesn't look very good, does it? Well, that's because we need to create a blend mode, and if you don't know what blend modes are, there's lots of information about that online as well. But all you have to know right now is that if we click on this box up here where it says normal right now, it gives us a choice of all kinds of blend modes, and different ones are for different things. These are mostly to darken, these are to lighten, and these are a combination that has to do with contrast. So they don't all look great, but notice what soft light does right away. It's kind of harsh, but it works pretty good. Another one works sometimes for people is hue, but in this case it doesn't look very good. So soft light, you can't go wrong with it. You could use it probably most of the time. And we click on that, even though it's very harsh. It's easy to take care of that by just clicking on the opacity slider and bringing it down to where you like it. Let's say somewhere in there. And then if we look at our first photo, notice the tones of the leaves and the grass and the sky, and then we could even brighten this up a little bit. I think just deepen the gradient to something like that. So that's interesting because if we look at the original compared to this, and this compared to it. So this is really good at just selecting certain colors like the grass and the leaves and the sky, and giving you that overall tone. And you can bring it down as much as you want. Just if you just say, I just want a bit of that look in there, so it's not so jarring looking from one picture to the next, like in a book, for example, then you can do that. Okay, so there's another thing I should mention is that when you click on the gradient map, bring the gradient editor up again. The one thing you can do in here that is you could adjust everything in real time for your gradient. So we made this map, but that's not saying that you can't move any of these sliders around. If you click on one of the sliders, you bring up this little arrow here, and what that does is adjusts the range of this color tone here. And if I click this one, you can see that the range is between these two here, and again, and so on. So, for example, if we click on this last one here and just sort of drag it around and look at the screen, it'll change the screen in real time. And if we don't know that there's much of a change in the photo, you might even want to drag it off. Or you could take this tone here, for example, and if you think that you want the range to change for that, it's not really affecting it too much in here. There you go. We saw a darkening of it in this area here. Or you can just take the whole thing and drag it all the way down, and then you see this sort of subtle lightening, and again, or if we were to get drastic about it and just drag all these guys around, you can see the change. What's like you won't see a before and after or anything, but you could save this again as another gradient map and bring it back in, and then you could see the before and after. But that's kind of a nice advantage to this. And then nothing's been lost because all you have to do is just, went through the wrong direction here. Just replace that one with this one here again, and go OK. And we're back to where we were. So that's a nice advantage of this. And you can just see the toning. Okay. And then next I'm going to show some of the photos that I've had and how they, using these different gradients on different photographs and what some of the other effects that I've achieved. I'll give you a couple examples here. Let's just set this back to normal. So here's the original photo. Here's the photo of the house. Here's the photo of the house adjusted. And then here's a photo of a landscape. And here's the landscape using the same gradient map. So it's quite a difference again. And this photo would look just as good with it as this photo on a wall, as you can imagine. And compared to, this one and this one, it's just a matter of preference and choice. And you can see that this photograph was had a fair amount of adjustments done to it, and so it has to be a completely adjusted photo. You have to really like it, and it has to be fully done before you can use it as a gradient map for all your other photos. Okay, I'm going to stop there, and I think that's good for now.